Fall is here, and that means that everything is now pumpkin spice flavored, and you need a list of fall books to read. I can't help with the pumpkin spice stuff, but that's everywhere. As far as the book recommendations to read during the fall, I actually can't help a lot there either. I haven't read a lot of books that I would consider very, fall specific or have a very fall vibe to them. But thankfully, with the power of the internet, I've been able to go through and do my research on YouTube and watch all of these YouTubers with all their wonderful fall list to see what they had in common and what the consensus was. Based off of all the YouTubers that know better, I've come up with a list of 10 books to read during the fall that should give you all the warm, fuzzy feels of October and of the fall in general. But fear not, I have contributed something. I do have my own special mention of a book I would recommend during the fall, and that'd be at the very end of the video, kind of a bonus 11th book thing for you. Of our 10 books of the fall, we're going to start with one that's on a lot of people's list, including my wife's to get to very soon, and that is Legends and Lattes. This one I think is just probably recommended so much because everyone keeps saying it's a very cozy feeling book. It's a very comfortable book. And if you haven't heard of it, basically it is a orc that has put up the sword and is done with battle and bloodshed and just wants a peaceful, quiet life. So they go open up a coffee shop. And that's basically what the book's about. If you're looking for something nice and cozy and warm and comfortable, Legends and Lattes is probably going to be your best bet. Second book on our list is going to be coming in very on the nose. A Night in the Lonesome October. And so this is not a book I have heard of before looking into these fall reading lists, so I'm just going to read you a little bit of what it's about. A Night in the Lonesome October is delightful, humorous, poetic, and gleefully dark. Whenever a full moon falls on All Hallows Eve, the conditions are such that a gate may be opened to allow the elder gods to return from the nether regions to which they have been banished. Guard Dog and his owner, Jack the Ripper, are closers. That is, they and others of their persuasion arrive in the time and the place where the gate might open in order to prevent the elder god's return. And a fun thing about this one is that each chapter is a day in October. So it not only feels very fall-like, it was specifically written for the month of October. So you can't get any more on the nose than that one. But I've heard good things about it doing this research for this list. So might be worth checking out. Number 3 on the list, I didn't expect to see, but after the fact, yeah, totally makes sense. And that's going to be the Dresden Files. This is an extremely popular series. I don't know what book they're on. It's in the teens, I think. Basically, he's a wizard, private detective that helps with magical issues, kind of thing. But with all the different monsters and wizardly things, it very much falls into the characteristic Halloween type feel of books, so I've heard. And number 4, The Night Circus. So again, this one just has that kind of spooky, Halloween type vibe that you want in the fall. If you're not wanting a super cozy read and you're wanting more of the spooky read, this may be more suited for you. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It's simply there, when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tent is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway, a duel between 2 young magicians. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Despite the high stakes, they soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences, leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. So, if you're wanting a little spooky Halloween type circus action and a little bit of romance and love story, this might be the one for you. Number 5, Ninth House. I probably should have made this one 9th on the list, but I didn't think about that ahead of time, so it's number 5. A mesmerizing tale of power, privilege, dark magic, and a murder set among the Ivy League elites. They tamper with forbidden magic, they raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. Now, this one definitely has those Halloween type raising the dead, occult type, murder, spooky, Halloween vibes. Honestly, I'm a little intrigued by it. I haven't read it. It's not been on my TBR list, but from looking this over and having so many people recommend it, it's got a chance. I might pick it up. Have you read it? What do you think? Number 6. The Book of Lost Things. High in his attic bedroom, 12-year-old David mourns the death of his mother. He is angry and alone, with only his books on his shelf for company. But those books have begun to whisper to him in the darkness, and as he takes refuge in his imagination, he finds that reality and fantasy have begun to meld. While his family falls apart around him, David is violently propelled into a land that is a strange reflection of his own world, populated by heroes and monsters, and ruled over by a fated king who keeps his secrets in a mysterious book. The Book of Lost Things. This is one I had actually never heard of before I started doing the research for this list, and it's got me intrigued. It's a little fairy tale, it sounds like, kind of, old school portal fantasy, kid reading fantasy book into a fantasy world kind of trope. But the mystery aspect of it, anytime you give me a good mystery in a fantasy book, I'm tempted. And so this one, I don't know, it just seems like a good, cozy, classic fantasy mystery read that you could get into. Number 7, A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Now, first off, the title and the cover on this book, they get my attention. I like them. Definitely. I'm okay with that. What I'm not so okay with is it's a fairy tale retelling. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I have just always been so skeptical of classic retellings. I don't know why, but it just seems to me like I'm fine with you pulling inspiration from, a classic fairy tale and using some tropes set in classic fairy tales, that kind of thing, but just a straight up retelling, I just feel like it's so hard to pull off right. I may be just completely missing the boat on that. It may be the next best, biggest thing and everyone's loving it. I'm just not on board. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But if you are into fairy tale retellings, this may be a good one to pick up for the fall. Number 8, Nettle and Bone. So this one is extremely popular. I feel like everybody's talking about it. My wife definitely wants it. It's on her very soon TBR list. I'm kind of up in the air about it. I haven't read it. It's typically not my thing, but it does sound a little interesting. This isn't the kind of fairy tale where the princess marries a prince. It's the one where she kills him. That I might be able to get behind. So again, I'm seeing a pattern where the more fairy tale type, Halloween feeling stories are kind of making it more and more into the you should read during the fall type thing. And I'm not that big into fairy tale stories, so maybe I'm just missing the boat on that. Maybe that is what you're supposed to read during the fall. Because the next one on the list is For the Wolf, which is another fairy tale retelling. And again, typically not up my alley, but it does come highly recommended from, all those in YouTube that know better than I as a great fall read. For the Wolf. The first daughter is for the throne. The second daughter is for the wolf. As the only second daughter born in centuries, Red has one purpose: to be sacrificed to the wolf in the wood in the hope he'll return the world's captured gods. It's supposed to be dark, a little romantic, so maybe it's a good fall read. It's on a lot of people's list for the fall, so it might be one worth checking out. And number 10 on our list, and this is one I'm actually a little excited about. I hadn't heard of it before, but after seeing everyone talking about it on these lists and reading the description of it, it sounds right up my alley. So this one I'm very interested in. Book of the Night. A modern dark fantasy of betrayals, secret societies, and a dissolute thief of shadows. Charlie Hall has never found a lock she couldn't pick, a book she couldn't steal, or a bad decision she wouldn't make. And that sounds exactly like the kind of protagonist I like to follow around in a book. I am a sucker for thieves and stealing and crime and mystery and fantasy. So you wrap all that up together and I am on board to give it a try. So if you have read Book of the Night, let me know down in the comments. Is it worth me reading? Is it worth picking up? Is it something you think I would like? because it sounds like it is, and it comes fairly recommended, like I said, from the YouTubers that know better than I. So if you have read it, let me know. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I did promise to add one of my own to the list here, and so that's going to be our number 11 slot, our honorable mention, Mistborn, The Final Empire. To me, this is the most fall, autumn, Halloween, spooky Cosmere book out there. The sky is red. Everything is covered in black ash. There's a mist that comes every night with scary monsters in it. There are literally guys in black robes with spikes through their eyes. This is as close to a horror book that we've gotten in the Cosmere, and I think it's perfect vibe-wise for a spooky Halloween fall read. And honestly, it's a good read any time of the year. Even if you've already read it, maybe read it again for fall. Maybe it just become a good, every fall reread. I'd be fine with that. I may start reading it today. It's one of my favorite books, and honestly, I think the vibe is perfect for fall. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend you picking up Mistborn Final Empire. You won't regret it. So that is it for my review of what BookTube is recommending to read this fall. If you have some different titles you think would be better on this list, let me know down in the comments. If you've read some of these and want to tell me about them, I'm eager to hear about these books. Like I said, except for Mistborn, I haven't read any of these. This is just what BookTube is saying is best for the fall. So if you have some you think I should pick up first off this list, please, like I said, let me know. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great fall, and I will see you in the next one.